To show the adapter pattern in Java, let's take a simple example. So in this case, I have a logger that I've implemented, and here's some client code, and all it does is to create the logger using this method on an abstract class that we've seen before, and then we debug and trace and log. There are different methods on the logger that allows me to produce log messages. If I open up the logger, you'll see that I've implemented that as an abstract class. I wanted to have that static create method. And you see all it does is return a logger implementation. But at the same time, of course, it also plays the role of an interface. The logger implementation is a very simple class. All it does is print to the console the log messages. Now, any Java programmer would know that there are a set of log libraries out there, and I should have used one of those. And I'm just going to simply integrate the Apache's common logging and have that work over log4j. I've set this project up to be a Maven project. Maven has this advantage that I can go and grab code or grab libraries from the open source. So I'm going to open up the POM file and just specify that I need to use the Apache common logger, version 1.1.3, which is the latest one at the time I'm recording this. And as soon as I save the POM file, Eclipse will download and add the library to my project. I won't show you that. I'll make exactly the same exercise for log4j. The interesting thing here is that the common logging framework or commons logging framework from Apache has a different interface from the one that I had originally specified, and that was used among maybe thousands of clients in my project. What I need now is to introduce commons logging and try to do so without the clients having to change code. So what I'll do is I'll create a class that implements the logger interface, and I'm going to call it Apache Commons Log Adapter. Eclipse will now create a class that has a dummy implementation of all of the methods that I need to implement. The Apache Commons have this log, just called a variable logger, and I'm going to instantiate an implementation of that. I'm going to use the log4j. And next, I'll implement each one of these methods by forwarding to the logger and translate where I need to. For trace and debug, the translation is straightforward, but for log, there is no such method. So I'm going to use info instead. So here we have an excellent example of an adapter where the log message is translated into an info, but semantically, they're the same. That is, the info that we use on the commons logger is meant in the same way as the log message was originally meant for my own implementation. Now I'll go back to the abstract class logger and change the create method to use this adapter. And the interesting thing about this is by having created that factory method and separating the interface from the implementation, I'm able to introduce this new Apache Commons library without changing any of my clients.